Okay, this is my 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn. I have the Midnight Edition, so you can see the wheels are blacked out. You can see that the grille is blacked out. I have the stock headlights, which I don't really love. It's something I maybe will look to change in the future. And then when I bought the truck used a couple of years ago, the original owner, I'm the second owner, had tinted out the windows quite a bit, which honestly I think makes a huge difference since everything else is already blacked out. So as far as current setup, I have the Nexen 275 by 55 by 20s. It's a decent sized tire. This came stock on the truck. It's super comfortable. You're starting to see I'm getting closer to the end of life here. But the gap between the front here and the top of the wheel well, the top of the tire and the top of the wheel well, it's not that high, which is something I want to fix. Okay, so I think it's important to know before I lift anything and change the tires or the height of the truck to see the height of the wheel really quick in comparison to the new ones, because I think there's a lot of confusion on how big wheels get. So it's about, call it 4 inches, maybe 4.5. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah,
Four,
five maybe.
four, between 4 and 5. From the top of the wheel to the top of the wheel well, I'm looking at about 6.5. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah.
That's 6.5. And then let's go to the back end. Tire should be the same. We're looking at about 7.75 on the back.
Why is it different?
So it's different because of rake. So the back is going to be a little bit higher. So when you're towing, it's got a little bit more clearance here, and for MPG. So the front end is sloped downward, so you get better aerodynamics, and that's better MPG. Let's see how high we are from the ground to the tailgate. I'm saying 32.5, Jeff.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, and then to the top of the truck here, I'm saying about 55.
Yeah, 54, 55.
Perfect. Okay. Last measurement, ground clearance. From the ground to the top of the side rail, I'm sitting at about 12 inches, so right around a foot. Cool. Well, obviously, I think the most important thing to recognize, other than how it's going to look, which this is how it looks now, is going to be how it drives. So I realized I forgot to mention exactly what I'm doing to the truck in this video and what I'm going to do to modify it when I drop it off this week, which I'm actually on my way to drop it off right now. So there's 3 main things I'm doing to this truck. I'm putting new tires on the stock rims. I'm getting new shocks, and then I'm also doing a 3.5-inch lift kit. So I chose the ReadyLift 3.5-inch lift kit with the Bilstein 5100 shocks, and then the Nexen tires and 295 60 20. Okay, here we go. The build is complete. We got that 3.5-inch ReadyLift with the Bilstein 5100 shocks. You'll notice it's definitely more of an aggressive height. An aggressive stance is, actually the stance is about the same. I have no offset, but you can notice a much larger gap between the top of the tire and the top of the wheel well. Let's take a look at that wheel well. And notice the spacers in the back here, right there. The ReadyLift. I love that it's blacked out. And then these are the Nexens, the 285 60 20s. Excuse me, 295 60 20. One thing I didn't think about until after is how the mud flaps might look different. Definitely a little bit higher off the ground, of course, but still looks great and protects the back of the truck as it's supposed to. Okay, so the truck is finished. I wanted to make sure I got you guys the same measurements that I did before I lifted anything. So first, let's take a look at the size of the tire just to give you an idea of how big this new Nexen tire is. As a reminder, it's a 295 60 20. Where it's going to come in at is right around that 5.5-inch mark, so about a whole inch roughly bigger than the last one. So pretty big difference, which will play into the height. Something that I didn't think about, I thought that the gap would be more heavily impacted, but because I got a bigger tire, it fills in the wheel well more. So when we look at the top of the tire now to the top of the wheel well, we're still going to see an increase. It's just shy of 9.5 inches. And if we take a look at the back here, tire's obviously the same. It should be more similar now because we got rid of that factory rake. And based on my measurements, it's actually about 8.5. So the gap back here is a little bit less, which is not something I would have expected. Let's look at the tailgate. I measured this at the start to see how easy it would be to get things in and out of the truck. So I wanted to notice what the difference would be. So now to the ground to the tailgate, we're looking at a little less than 3 feet now. We got about 2 foot 11 inches. And then from the ground to the top of the flatbed, just under 5 feet actually, about 4 foot 10 inches. So pretty big difference, honestly. And lastly, we wanted to take a look at the ground clearance to see what changed. How much higher do I have to step up to get into this truck? And we're looking at a little bit over 5 foot and 5, so about 1 foot 5.5 inches. So pretty big differences. It's definitely a little bit harder to get in the truck, but I still have the side rail. It's not a huge difference for me, so I'm still happy. I still like it. I love the way it looks. So that's the truck.